Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Zwift Community Live broadcast of Stage 4 of the OG Racing Series. It's part of the Zwift Racing, the Zracing series that Zwift is putting on for this month. And we're into stage number 4 with something awesome. The OG Racing Series has been a look back at the originals of all of the race organizers out on Zwift. We've covered SCR, we've covered Fearless, we've covered TFC, and now today it is the OGs of the OGs, the KISS Racing Series. It's absolutely awesome to be covering this, and we're going all the way out to the London Loop. London was the third world to be Watopia, Richmond, and then London. I believe that's the order that we went in. And London Loop was always one to look forward to the Box Hill climb, and we are out on that for sure. For one lap, it's going to be fast, Dave. Probably, I'm looking at a 22, 24-minute lap. This is going to be all out. And I think we've got, it looks like 52 A starters and well over 200 in the pens across all the categories.
Yeah, there's a lot to unwrap here, Nathan. But, going to this London World, I think of that Olympic Games in 2012. That was a landmark Olympics. And as you touch on, it was really, really cool to get to do this series for folks that maybe weren't there back in 17, 18, 19, pre-pandemic. Well, two names that really stand out, James Hodges and Glenn Knight. We were talking about them before the broadcast, Nathan, and you were giving them a lot of deserved credit for, as the saying goes, on the shoulder of giants. Well, I don't know, and I'm going to just take the words right out of your mouth, but I don't really know that we would be racing in this format at this level without the work that they did early on. So on the shoulder of giants, as we say. So thanks a lot to everybody involved. There's quite a few folks, weren't there, involved in KISS, Nathan, in the early days?
Yeah, there really was. You had a lot of work that was done in the community, and really the KISS series, or the KISS team, as well as their race organization, was really born out of the Zwift training races. And I think the idea of starting this brand of, and I think up front it was keep it simple, stupid was what it was up front, because things got really complicated. Like it felt like, and they were just like, let's just show up and race and make it as simple as we possibly can. And I think we did a lot of racing actually out on Watopia up front. I actually went on over to our YouTube on Zwift Community Live, and I scrolled for at least a minute or so and saw nothing but KISS Racing League. I see some of our old school commentators there, actually, with Jesper Anchor in there. We used to do some ride-alongs with Ian Anderson from the KISS Racing team, but as you see, Wes Solzberger's in there doing the Australia KISS Racing League. I mean, lots and lots and lots and stuff here, as you can see. We also had some final series that were done with tax, with a live final at the end, as well in Europe. So there was the KISS Racing Series Europe that actually had a live final people had to qualify for through the series online. And then we also had one that was done with Cyclops for North America, with a final that was done in Long Beach. So there's a final for Europe in London and a final for North America in Long Beach for both of those series. That was all the way back 5 years ago, actually.
Wow.
2000, yeah, the big. I mean, and KISS, you also had the KISS Super League with a Pro-Am type racing that was going on for a long time. So much with the KISS guys that we've done for a long, long time now.
Yeah, noteworthy with the Olympic esport event happening just a few days ago. Think about that. That's 5 years, right? From the first in real life Zwift events to where we are now, which was mind blowing to see the impact and the stage that those athletes were on. What a great job. I'll say, and all of those names were really familiar to us from Zwift community too. So nice to see those athletes get a crack at the big time, and they certainly represented well. That's for sure. So, yeah, so much going on. Portal talk, Nathan, London, I guess.
Yeah, you want to talk about that
here.
just a little bit? Like,
sure.
The Portal has been interesting little release that just went down. And right before the Tour de France, which is super interesting to have all these climbs that are popping up, and every one of them are either part of the Tour de France or the Tour de France Femme.
Perfect. right? I know a lot of people will be Zwifting when they watch the tour. It's amazing to think we're just about there on the threshold of what's going to be another incredible July. And huge thank you to every visionary at Zwift for the Tour de France Femme avec Zwift as well. That just adds, such a bonus for bike racing fans, that's for sure. So got that to look forward to. And Nathan, as you said, over 50 riders in the A's. We have all the different levels of racing going on out here today, but it's nice to see some of the very recognizable names, some heavy hitters jumping in with this group. It's 15 kilometers of racing. Nathan shouted out Box Hill. That's the crux of the situation out there. But we'll get a chance to, you'll hear some names, not just John Verm, who was one of the breakthrough riders, or I should say welcoming back one of the big-time riders. The Dragons are all here. Benny Axe, Dominic Rath, and Le Capitaine. Very ominous-sounding name there. The Dragons, one of the new teams that are starting to make their mark out here. We'll be watching for what they can do. Nate is here. Nate Clausen, Nathan, one of the Pizza Boys. That brings back some
Really?
great
That is
memories.
so
Yep,
great. The Pizza Boys have showed up. I absolutely love. Well,
they're
you
back.
know, things are starting to heat up if the Pizza Boys are here as we get out on course. And as you can see, it's been really
Ooh.
fast already, Dave. Look at the pack already breaking apart. I'm looking behind here, and there's actually 3 or 4 off the back. I'm seeing Moxon here from WLC, though, hanging on the back. I think he knows what's going to be coming. Dave, up front, you go too fast, going to hit that Box Hill climb. I mean, I think we're hitting that at 6+ watts per kilogram all the way to the top with some of these boys.
I would agree, Nathan. Well, here's 2 names. Brace yourself. Richard Berry, the Irishman, is here. He's a rock star. He was in Scotland for the Zwift Worlds with the UCI. And Jay Bruin is back, Nathan. This guy never misses a step, the American. These are both next insured riders. So, all right, I feel the level has clicked up at least 1 notch here, Nathan. We're going to see who's going to be the rider who makes their mark out here today as well. As I can see that this group, you can just keep peeling back layers of this onion because we're back in with Wahoo Lacole. Good to see that WLC is back and in full effect. This is Moxon, the rider that we're in with right now. Nathan, Peloton may be backing off for just a minute. Well, as I say that, it looks like we've got one of our ESRT riders. This is going to be Owens that we're looking at right now up on the front. And he's definitely got the accelerator down on the floorboard.
Yeah, he does. It looks like Owens is trying to make a little bit of a move. Went up to 6 watts per kilogram for just a moment. I have a feeling, though, for Owens, it may be making moves early like this to perhaps get a little bit of wiggle room to work with as they do hit the climb. We saw him up into 6-7 watts per kilogram for a moment there, but it was over 500 watts and able to do it. He does get covered very quickly by Miguel from the PTZ. Capitan from the Dragons is right on the wheel. I don't see Next really sticking their nose in the wind too much, and they are one of the most experienced teams out on Zwift, and I believe Next are going to be holding up for that climb because they've got the big sprinter that is Jay Bruin. Watch out for that at the end. I think he's going to be saving his matches as best he can. He's not a breakaway rider, but Barry may be one for a breakaway perhaps, or at least to press the pace. They showed up, I think, with 2 different kinds of tools today. That is going to be matches to burn with Barry over the top of Box Hill, make a chase and set Bruin up perhaps for a nice sprint.
Agreeing with all of that, Nathan, but listen to this row of heavy hitters now as the ESRT team. They've got Brink, Broberg, Verm, Blomqvist, and Wahlbeck. That sounds like a Swedish law firm, but it's actually going to be 5 monsters racing under that same flag there. Again, that's ESRT. They were animating really throughout the series. Another attack, though, Nathan, looking like we've got, let's pick out who this rider is now. It's got
Heibel.
A lot of heart.
Yeah, it's going to be Heibel from KST, and he looks like he's got steering on. Look at him taking it straight to the left-hand side of the course, and that is something to pay attention to, everybody here. Steering is on for the OG series. Excuse me, actually all the way to the right-hand side of the course, as you can see. So it looks like he's trying to make sure nobody can essentially draft on him easily. Quickly just sticks right in the gutter there, and he's going to hold on to the right-hand side. Owen's looking to come across here from ESRT. McLean is there as well. Dominguez there from Sisu, and it's all back together. It's a tough one to make a break on, that little bit of a punch up and over into Trafalgar Square.
You're absolutely right, Nathan. It's tough to make a break, but it's not tough to put a lot of lactic acid into the legs. You can see that this group's going to be just about in the hurt locker at this point now. So even though that was impactful, No doubt about it. You can see all the way the ripple effect going back through the peloton right now, but still everybody together. It's only 15K of racing. As we look forward to the feature part of the race here, it's going to explode today on Box Hill, especially, Nathan, with the pace that they've been setting. Portals, steering, Zwift play. More has happened in Zwift in
Big
the
move.
last month.
Big move.
Yeah, let's pick this up. Here you go, Nathan.
Sunderland, Anderson, both ESRT. That's a counterattack from their teammate, it looks like. Talk about
planned,
showing up with a
obviously.
plan. Oh, my gosh, I love it. The Swedish team here is making moves left and right. Morals from WZ sees that this is a move he has to cover. Up into 8 watts per kilogram. Gurnu is there as well. The names are coming out of the woodwork, Dave. We're in the middle of summer, and suddenly half the esports teams that we know of at this time are showing up ready to race. And we've got some new hitters here from Sisu as well, but saying, hi, Mom, from Dominguez. Good to see him out here. Is Mom watching? Did you share it with her? I'd love to know.
I'll give her a shout out, that's for sure. You know, Nathan, we've never really seen this level at this time of the year, which bodes very well for racing to look forward to. Nice. Jesse Decker shouting out James' mom as well. So there you go. It's it pays to watch esports, no doubt. So this is the ESRT team. I really think that they came in, Nathan, pound for pound, ounce for ounce, team to watch for me, to tell you the truth. They've been taking this seriously, and they've been exercising tactics, and this is certainly one of them. So it's certainly not a race winning move, but it's going to be it's an appetizer for what's going to be the main course for this well drilled Swedish team. So we're going to drop down into the tube here, taking a look now at a small gap that should be putting some pressure on the other teams here, Nathan, as we very quickly move through this 15K. This was extremely well done because the climbing starts in earnest in about 1 kilometer from now. So they've done their job well if they were trying to soften this group up.
Yeah, Sunderland there, as you can see, going back into the pack. We did see Manalo there from the OTR team coming on through, but now everyone's going to calm right on down. That escalator down into the underground, always somewhere that the pack is able to gain a massive amount of speed. They needed a solid 10 to 15 seconds to hold on there, but it did cause a little bit, as you did say, pressure on the legs, I think, for some of the other riders. But now Box Hill, it's only 1 lap, so because they're not going to be doing this a second or third time, Dave, I think anyone who's not looking for a straight up sprint into the downtown London is going to want to break this apart. It's going to be an all-in move, one after another, to try and whittle this down to the smallest as you possibly can, or perhaps break away. But it's so difficult with the other side of Box Hill being such a sharp downhill. A pack can chase you down quickly.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, Nathan, to see what kind of pack remains. Right now, if you're in the Surrey Hills or the Greater London area and you see a mushroom cloud going up over Box Hill, do not be concerned. That's not the military doing any testing. That's going to be this bike race right here, because riders are going to be blowing to bits. And here's the first man who's going to light the fuse for us. It is ESRT and Owens once again, Nathan. But I'm going to say it's a group of less than 10 when we sort things out up and over the top. Watching for, I see Charles McCarthy.
That's got to be backpedal.
BL13.
I think backpedal's going to the. Oh no, is that McLean? I think it's McLean again.
It might be McLean. Yes, one of the most animated racers that we've seen throughout the summer.
Yeah, making his move here from early on. But a lot of times, Dave, if you go too early on this climb, you can really suffer for it. This is a solid attack up at 8 watts per kilogram, 9 watts per kilogram. How long can he hold this kind of wattage is going to be the question on everyone's mind. It's going to be backing off here, it looks like. Vila now trying to come across. A lot of times you see these massive numbers up front, and then they begin to back off into what is more of a steady climb all the way to the top here. Vila, Miguel, Carlos here as well. 4 seconds back. McLean, can he hold on?
It reminds me of like a 70s TV ad of the knock the chip off my shoulder. Well, you might knock the chip off your own shoulder. You could see the numbers were ridiculous. You got to settle into a rhythm here. If they were holding on to nearish to thereabouts 8 watts per kilo, McLean is still, now he's dropping back down into something sustainable, but after that huge effort he's made. This is really an exceptional ride that we're looking at from McLean right now, the Cannondale rider here on the front. That's going to be via the chase that we're looking at. But you can see now the heavy hitters have arrived up near the front. Le Capitan is there. He's one of the dragons that we were noting at the start, but now some of the big names like Richard Berry, the Irishman, is there. He's one of your danger men, Nathan.
Yeah, and as you can see here, Vila to the front, he is giving a draft to a lot of the riders here. You can sit in at a solid half a watt per kilogram less or so if you do got a good draft. Maybe, 0.2 to half a watt per kilogram less as Vila drives the pace, which I think with only 7 seconds here, McLean may not be able to hold on to this gap that he has developed. He's really having a phenomenal climb here, as you can see, 6.6 watts per kilogram. Let's see how long he can hold on to this as Berry sits in little ways back, 5.6. Very smart rider, Richard Berry, the way that he is riding, knowing that this is most likely going to be brought right on back. Brune is also there as well. So next, they have set themselves up perfectly to hold on to the top, I would think, and set up for a solid sprint in a whittled group.
Yeah, Nathan, the sweet spot of this race are really just behind, just off the screen right now from where you're looking. If you're sitting back in that group here, you're doing a perfect job because you're getting maximum draft. You're certainly close enough to respond to anything that goes. So you're in position to be in position to win this bike race if you're sitting back, really, I would say, as far back as position 16 right now, as obviously it's going to be McLean is still off of the front, holding on to a significant advantage, Nathan. So that work that he did, he was just railing it in that first, the bottom part of this climb. He established that gap, and now he's sitting on 6.7, even 7 watts per kilo, and the chase really isn't going any faster. So he's holding on. This is really an impressive job by McLean, to tell you the truth. That's what's my takeaway is right now. These riders are all playing their cards correctly. Not going to fault them at all, but I will say McLean, win, lose, or draw, has shown that he's really brought some good fitness into the early part of the summer here.
100%. Now I'm going to go back just a little bit to see where the actual split is in this group. Oh, does this Charles McCarthy actually? Has he made the main group? McCarthy, he has. Good on the Velocio rider at 189 beats per minute. I know he's a rider.
He's leveled up.
When it comes to this kind of a climb here, might be struggling a little bit. Up into 191 right now. Great on him to be holding on. Velocio also showing up today. Now, a little ways back, though, Dave, as you can see, Iron Mike Johnson here, it looks like, as well as Decker from Backpedal. Just those 8 seconds, not going to be happening. There's the split that is happening, and behind you have just this absolute mayhem of riders completely blown out. Now, Bjorn just hanging out at 180 beats per minute, and that does not bode well for the rest of the pack. Now, for him to have hung on and unable to break the kind of sprinter that he is. Now, McLean is the big question up front, but with the downhill coming off the backside of Box Hill and this big of a group, they can definitely work together, but they're going to have to push a little bit. The descents have changed, haven't they, Dave, when it comes to being able to ramp that speed up. Super tucks only happen now with the lead rider. It does not happen amongst the entirety of the group, so it's a lot harder to just roll through with speed. You got to work a little bit for it, and McLean's got 10 seconds.
That's an awesome change that they made, that super tuck change, Nathan. We're going to be now looking at a 10-second advantage, which is more than just interesting. This is going to be a nail-biter. No doubt about it. My man, John Brune, here is the rider that I would put as my 4-star favorite. But this group here, this select group, that's going to be chase 1 because our leader, McLean, holding on off of the front. So they've got some work to do. We're down to 5K to go. Inside of 5 kilometers, they are going to make the catch. The physics of the game come into play. So go ahead and hit the reset button, and I think John Brune right now, Nathan's got to be licking his lips.
What did he do?
John Brune, too.
Oh, my gosh. 5:29, Dave. This is like he went completely all in for that and then backed right on off, it looks like. They climbed only 7 seconds faster. These times are massively insane. I've barely ever seen these kinds of, I mean, talk about the level in Zwift at this point, that this entire pack was climbing up into the 530s or so. There may be also the way that the new pack dynamics may be working a little bit there in their favor compared to some of our older times, but McLean now going backwards and suffering probably for the kind of effort he threw down there. Talk about the motivation to get a KOM perhaps, but now he's out the back. McLean's no longer even involved. That goes to show the risk that you have to take sometimes in order to try and win a race, but you can also lose it that way, can't you, Dave?
Yeah, you can, but a statement was made, very noteworthy, his ascent, that's for sure. We're going to turn our attention, though, back to the vanguard of this race. Nozaki has been a noteworthy rider as well. Keys there, the American, coming up to the front. We're going to have a reduced group sprint, no question. We started with, let's call it in the mid-50s, the number of riders, and these are the gladiators that have survived to this point, inside of 4K to go, as they are descending like a bowling ball being dropped down an elevator shaft right now, Nathan. But it won't be long until we kick back into tactical mode. But this group right now just solidifying what looks like our top 20.
Talk about the jerseys we're seeing here. WZ has made it with Maros. We are seeing the Dragons with a Capitan. PTZ is here as well. Have the Dragons got anybody else, though? Besides the Capitan, I believe we've got one other, which is
Eggers?
Buster. Buster, I believe. Is Eggers as well? Have to double check on that one.
I'm double checking that. Sorry, Nathan. He's German, which is a good sign. Most dragons are in our world.
All dragons are Germans. Oh, man.
In general, dragons speak German, we learned. Yeah.
I'll have to ask Gabby about that one.
Right.
All right, so looking through here, it looks like we also got Z-Sun showing up as far as the jerseys go. WEZ, ESRT are going to be in those hot pink. There are 3 of them. Has Richard Berry and Brune both made this front group? They have. 2 next kits are out
they
here.
Both
one
did.
WLC.
You see them right in the middle there. Yeah, the green and the black. So those 2 were joining together. You're a good point, Nathan, about ESRT with 3 here. And one of them is Verm. I'm confirming that for myself. And
I have a feeling it's a Verm versus
there.
Brune, but ESRT can send
likely.
1 or 2 up front. And actually, if Next do make a move with perhaps Blomqvist or someone else in this final couple of K, they could get away and then have a sprint between each other because there are teammates there. But we also do see something heating up here between the Capitan, I believe, for a sprint as well because he seems to have a good kick.
Egger's not a dragon, so take that back. Egger's racing for another squad here, but he is German. It's the MXW team.
Here's one of the places where a kick can come. Blomqvist also does have a 16.5 watts.
Here's your charge.
Kick. This is it here. Now, Barry kicking. Keys, 12 watts per kilogram from the Dragons. Verm now making a little bit of a move, it looks like. Nobody going to be going anywhere, though. And
it's holding back right now, Nathan. I thought we were going to see an attack coming out of that group at that moment from the Next and Short team, but they're going to keep their powder dry. It looks like everybody here is going to trust in their finale. Or in their sprint for the finale, I should say.
Yeah, it looks like everything's going to stay pretty calm at this point. Interesting enough here, Dave. Nobody making any kind of serious moves as of yet. So I have a feeling it is going to come down to a sprint situation. Obviously, out here on
You're going to attack. If you're going to attack this group, you don't do it from the front. You do it from somewhere in the middle, I would say, and it doesn't look like anybody's going to make that run. Or is
Barry on the far left.
Make a bit,
Barry on the far left. That's a serious situation.
Absolutely, Nathan. So that's Zwift play in full effect. This is the Irishman, Richard Berry. He's got that world championship experience. He definitely, we talked about riders leveling up. He's one of them. I do think this is a setup, though, for his teammate. That's going to be Jay Brune. Brune, you see that switch? That was Zwift play all day long right there, Nathan.
Yeah, I love the way that these riders are now able to keep the draft off of them, make a move, hold them off, and it looks like Collins here making a move at only 8.4 watts per kilogram. He's only got here, Dave, just half a second. Not sure he's going to be able to hang on to this. It's going to be Miguel coming on through, perhaps with the sprint. Not ramping up too much. Is that Brune? Brune, right on the wheel. Watch this rider. What's the kick going to be from Jay Brune? Here comes the Aero power up. He's almost to the front, though, Dave. Interesting enough because I think he's going to have to get way more distance than this. Blomqvist now with a solid kick, 16 watts per kilogram, holding on all the way to the line. It is going to be Blomqvist, perhaps? No! Oh, I couldn't tell. Keys perhaps at the line.
Well, Nathan, I mean, obviously we're going to go back to the and take a look there, but that surge was certainly encouraging. Holy cow. I
Blomqvist
mean,
with
it
the kick to
really
the line,
catches your eye.
perhaps? Or was it Keys is going to be my question here.
Yeah, well, I think Keys, if you're just looking on the visual here, again, we go back and look at the back end API, and that will tell the story with that data, as they'll take all, what happened out there with everyone and look and see who the winner was. But yeah, I mean, I think that Keys, if we go back and look at that in slow motion, had, yeah, at least a centimeter at the line, at least.
Looking through it, Bruin with the
Maybe even
early kick, 17
2 centimeters.
watts per kilogram coming from him. I think he was looking to try and trust. You know those. I think what Bruin was up to here is it was this downhill sprint, and a lot of times in a downhill sprint, you think you can get a little bit of a distance where your speed is so high that the others can't really come around you because the speeds are so incredibly high. But that did not happen. He ended up fading backwards. Actually, oh, are we not going to end up with an entire sprint here for some reason? I think it's still processing. That's a lot of fun. But let's go ahead and see if we can find some of our other riders actually out on course for the B and the C categories.
Oh, great.
And then we'll start getting some
We can
results
circle
across
back.
the A's. And we'll circle back. But
Yeah.
I believe it was Keys followed up by Blomqvist and then Broom. But we'll be getting everybody a replay with that as well as the official results here in just a moment. The Squirrel Man is going to help us out here. David Squirrel is going to get us into the B category. Everyone's like, what are you talking about? Who's David Squirrel? David Squirrel riding for the Beasts. They're out here setting up for their sprint in the B category. And my question is, are we going to see some more steering tactics?
I think so. Nathan, it looks really similar, doesn't it? The size of the group that we're talking about. One of the things there's Squirrel with the Beasts, you can see highlighted. And I was looking to see once it sort of updates and settles in, there's an attack. And they're looking to cover.
Manta from Dirt here in that, well, it's a Mert kit. I like it that they're using the Mert kits here. Coming out of France, 180. He's gone. I don't think they're catching him. Oh, maybe. So Squirrel.
This is going to be a good example of how quickly they close it down. I'm with you, Nathan. My impulse is to say he's not coming back. He's got about 300 meters to hold on. It looks like one rider is going to make that catch.
Ooh, Squirrel. Oh, man. Manta sat up. He sat up too much, it looks like here. And it looks like the Squirrel from the Beast is just going to catch him.
Squirrel did it.
Right on by. And that is going to be David Squirrel across the line for the Z Racing Series. Manta here from Dirt coming in for second. Nice little kick that instigated things for the group. It is going to be Electric Spirit Co., I believe, with Doge coming on through for third. Love the orange creamsicle kit.
Been a hot minute. It's been a minute, Nathan, since I've seen our friends from Electric Spirit Co.
They've been doing a lot of these ladder races. Have you heard of these? There's like this underground, like ladder racing series where they have all these teams showing up and racing each other in controlled, like bracketed environments. It's cool. Really interesting. Yeah, really cool to see what they're up to. And I have a feeling that's why we haven't seen a whole lot of them. But showing up obviously today. Jumping on over to Greg Egren from the Merry Cranksters. He's going to help us out into the C category to watch their sprint as they're about to exit the underground.
Boy, all right, coming out of the tube now. This is a great launch pad, and I see a rider using the feather power up there. Perfectly timed. And two riders now trying to get that gap. This is on like Donkey Kong. Nathan, for our C's right now, is they're going to hit city proper in just a minute and back into London. And let's see, we're looking at, it's a ways now to the finish line, to be honest, about 1.5K to go. Your legs are going to be heavy after that effort coming up out of the tube. You can see the damage has been done. There's riders left, right, and center right now, Nathan.
Edmondson, a little bit of a Zwift play move there as well as he went to the far right of the course. And the Canadians got 2 seconds, 4.6 watts per kilogram. Are we going to see more breaks in these C and B categories? I think we are. As perhaps more sting is put in the legs from Box Hill for them a little bit. And Edmondson here breaking it.
And I think, Nathan, too, with so many riders not only getting Zwift play, but who will be getting it, it kind of puts you more in the arena, I think, once the gameplay element and your brain starts to fire up. The synapses love it. When they're now you're thinking, which wheel do I want to be on? Who's that rider? You're going to be paying more attention and engaging the game more, is my belief.
100%. Yep. Then you can't just sit in and wait for the right moment. You also have to follow and watch what.
Yeah, there's no auto here, right? There's no. You have to be more present in the game if you want to win.
100%, 100%. And unless, I guess you could just power your way to the front, perhaps.
Yeah, if you're Eddie Merckx, right? But. But I guess it's always easier.
Are they just letting him go? I mean, like 6 seconds, Dave. This isn't coming back. The sprint's not going to make it happen with about 300 meters. I don't think it's happening.
Just so often, Nathan, the question is, well, did he take it or did they give it to him? It's somewhere in between, right?
Yeah, this one, I think it is a little bit in between. I have a feeling that they were hoping it was only going to go out to 3 seconds. They're going to come on pretty quick here.
This is not over. Well, though it probably is, but it's going to be closer, Nathan. This is what I love is the gallop behind. I said steady state effort here on the front, but look at the numbers now. The orange numbers are popping. That was always my favorite Nathan Guerra line. But yeah, that he had plenty in the bank there. And Zed Bro in full effect for Howard, taking the C win here.
Second. Howard took second. It was
second.
Yep.
Sorry.
We had no worries. The rider from OTR
Edmondson,
did get away.
right?
Edmondson did get away. And Howard was able to grab second place there. We'll see if we can get a replay of that as well. Let's go ahead and see what's happening over in the D category. Lee Phillips is going to help us out. And love it that we are covering across all of the categories again, just like we did in the OG days. That is where things were at back then. We're going to keep on. And this is going to be A&T MTB team, actually. He's the current leader in this DK. Is he solo? I think he's solo off the front at this point. He is in first place, being chased by Robin.
They're about 18. Excuse me. It looks like Surfman Dennis, or I said Surf. I made that up. It's Duffman Dennis.
Surfman would have been pretty good there coming out.
Well, I just saw the F and I just went with it. Yeah, don't trust your instincts, Dave. But so Duffman Dennis was 8 seconds back the way I read that, Nathan. So there he is, actually. You can see him. That's a long 8 seconds.
Yeah, and then we do have RB and MP. There are a couple of riders that were a part of the OG series the last couple of weeks. I believe MP might have been our second or first place rider. Remember this kit? This all yellow kit that we saw last week out on the Richmond course?
Yeah, we were really hyped on this kit last week. I remain just enamored by it.
11 seconds. It's a big gaps, Dave. Big gaps here to close down. Not sure it's going to be happening.
Yeah, what happens? They must have just gone nutso on that climb and kind of an every man or woman for themselves, I'm thinking.
Yeah, 100%. I have a feeling
this is where the
exactly
chips,
what happened there.
That climb gives you enough of an opportunity to do this, to just go ballistic. And we're saying sometimes it backfires on you. And Nathan, you're a guy who races with heart. Sometimes it doesn't. That's the sweetest feeling of all. Winning a bike race alone is the coolest thing.
Yeah, being off the front, it is definitely one of the best feelings in the world.
Life feelings.
Yeah, but by far. And being able to just throw your arms in the air. Oh, are we seeing the catch here? I think I'm surprised that this even happened.
It was going great until it wasn't.
Look, and he's using the plays here. Goes on the steering offensive. Goes up and over the top, out of the underground.
Now he's
the
just
escalator.
showing off. He's just showing off out there now. He's going to pop a wheelie next, Nathan.
I don't know if they got that feature yet. We need to request it.
Oh, believe me, I'm working with the technicians. So Duffman Dennis showing you never give up out here. He's got a K, and I would say turnabout is fair play. You never know. Phillips might be scraping the bottom of the barrel and find a couple watts because I don't feel like this guy's giving up, Nathan.
No, it
Phillips
looks like
is not going to
yeah, he's only 3 seconds back and he's pushing a solid 3 watts per kilogram here. He's got him
for
within
him.
sights, and if he's got a
This
better
would be
kick,
incredible.
that's going to be the question, right, Dave? I mean,
he's closing this gap down.
Zimmerman's got 10.3 for his personal best. I think Zimmerman, Phillips,
He's
if he's
gonna
going to
hold
close
him.
this down, he's got
Oh
to
my gosh!
break him because
Oh,
look at Duff.
oh, look at that! He's absolutely playing with his head now. He's throwing up some sparks. This is intense. D's coming in hot. They're at about 600 meters to go. This is anybody's bike race. It's going to be Duffman Dennis on the front there. That's the Austrian flag. It looks like Dennis might have enough here. He's tapping on the gauge right now, Nathan, over this little kicker.
Phillips up and out of the saddle, 4 watts per kilogram here. The battle is on at this point here. Duffman into the flames of his over his FTP. He's sprinting it up 200 beats per minute coming from this guy.
He's
Phillips
at the limit.
Now with the drafting power of trying to get back on the wheel here, but it's not
Anything.
there. Oh man, Duffman now with the kick. It's like he's toying with him, Dave. It's painful to watch.
He's hitting his FTP. Yeah, no, it's amazing. But he's got him on the ropes, that's for sure. Phillips, who was our leader coming into about 1.5K to go, saw Duffman Dennis go up and over the top. The Austrian has been punching above his weight out here. He's constantly throwing up that FTP, the sparks, but he's done enough now. The gap is starting to go back out. Duffman Dennis is going to hold on here in London. This one is nearly done and dusted, Nathan. But I tell you what, that got pretty grippy there.
It really did. Duffman Dennis, I love it how they were using the Zwift plays. We saw the kicks back and forth.
Swerving
Phillips
all
comes
over
on in.
like a wild man.
Team MTB comes on through for third. It's going to be RB here, the Belgian rider, holding down a podium, it looks like, for the BZR team. Talking about going old school. Good to see the Belgian Zwift riders, out here. MP unable to chase him down for that third place, so he's going to have to settle for second. That was one of our top 2, though, last week, but it looks like the D category starting to heat up a little bit here, Dave.
Yeah, this has looked like the great racing today. I'm really wondering what Anna Russell would say about this kit and the whole kit.
Dave.
I don't know. I'm just curious.
The BZR kit looks really good, but then you start matching it with
The
that
shoe-
Tour Watopia, I think that is.
Yeah.
Are those Tour Watopia? Those are Tour Watopia, right? I believe, or are those Tour de Zwift? They may be Tour de Zwift. Either way, they're one of those series, and
just a lot going on.
Yeah, with, a little bit of mismatch there, but I mean, he got third place. I mean, he got a podium, so. Well,
you know what? I'm all.
He heard us. He heard us analyzing his kit and immediately logged out. He was like, "Stop looking at my kit. I don't need you to be analyzing my kit."
The Tour de France coming up, and the little Trek team kit was released. I'm a huge. Anytime you see a sponsor like that come into the sport, it's absolutely awesome. That's for sure. And I personally like their kit, to tell you the truth. But then again, that's the great thing about the cycling world is there's a lot of opinions out there, but keeping it spicy.
Quick little comment that did come through on the riders list. It is a currently known bug within our broadcasting. So just as a heads up, the riders list is going up and down. It is giving Dave a little bit of difficulty about who exactly it is that we're looking at. You can see at the top, but you can't of the screen who we are specifically looking at the time. But on the right-hand side, it does get a little bit, who are the riders nearby? And that should be coming with a fix soon enough across the broadcast for some future updates. I'm hoping as quick as possible.
I feel like it affects more than just me, to tell you the truth.
Oh yeah, it does. Sorry, I know.
But it does affect me.
No. Yes. I'm giving Dave some kudos. Actually, I'm trying to be really positive about how great Dave is doing with the riders nearby list jumping all around. I do have a.
To be fair. I mean, it's been there's been so many really positive, great things happening with Zwift, Nathan, and so I'm complimenting Zwift on the changes that we saw. You were talking about the super tuck during the race, but also I am playing a little bit of catch up, getting used to some of the new subtle things that are happening with the racing, which is great because that's progress. And that's one of the things that I really learned from Nathan, to tell you the truth, is don't be afraid of change. Just accept that things might not always be perfect at first and you've just got to work it out. but change is good, and we've seen a lot of great change with Zwift for sure. So I was only kidding, Nathan. You're right. I definitely am always the last to figure this stuff out, but I never give up. That's what I'm just like a bike racer, right?
Well, let's take a look at the results here. I do believe we are good to go. We'll start with the D category for stage
Great.
4 of the OG Racing Series out on the London Loop. Well, give us a second here. I'm going to actually put this behind some Zwift stuff and not just a black screen. There we go. So, I love the name Duffman Dennis, and he made the catch coming out of the escalator, Dave.
Yeah, I feel like that's a Simpsons reference, right? So Duffman Dennis, congratulations. A lot of heart out there, the WLBB rider, with a hearty 2.7 watts per kilo, nearly half an hour of racing. So congratulations to our gold medal winner, Lee Phillips. Fun to watch you race out there for the ANT Team MTB rider, taking silver. And then Robin B will be our third place rider in the Ds with bronze. Michelle P or McKaylee P, try to get that right. Fourth place. Jay On Hume in fifth. It's Baito RV Trave Tandem in sixth. G Hewitt in seventh. Sofian Devo in eighth. Paco Sanchez ninth, and Lewis Watkins in 10th. So, Nathan, that's a good look at all of our Ds, or I should say our top 10 in the Ds on the London Loop for our KISS Racing OG. And I'll throw it back to you for the Cs.
Jumping on over to the C category, and in the C category, it was Jonathan Edmondson from the OTR team. Canada, looks like with a little CA next to it there. It's going to be Edward Bond for the Bond. And the NZ Bro team coming on in for second place. F. Fingers for Z Sun R in third. It's MO45 Legal. I'm not sure if that's a promotion for the lawyers. I'm not sure what's happening there, but Mitten Z Way, MO45.de. I'm assuming that's coming out of Belgium. Or no, that's going to be
Germany.
Excuse me. Germany. I should know that. Max Heidenreich for fifth place, followed up by Ryan Suyat. Then it's going to be Mikolai Pikowetz, Lee Size, Daniel Flasterer, and Ludo Boni coming on through for 10th place. That is your top 10 in the C category for this stage 4 of the OG Racing Series.
All right. Thanks, Nathan. So jump in with the Bs now. And also, Nathan, thank you for covering all 4 races today. That was really cool. David Squirrel for the Beasts takes the win in a hard-fought battle, as it was Tom Monta for Dirt, the Dad's Indoors Riding Trainers team that we love, taking the silver medal. Ines Doig for ElectricSpirit.co taking the bronze medal in our B race. Peter Weston for fourth. Ronnie Stroivig for Street TT Tempo in fifth. Erwin Meyer in sixth. Adam O'Loughlin of the Coalition team in seventh. Matt Treadwell of WLC in eighth. Dave Konachek for Zedson R in ninth. And then Florian Hauser for another dirt rider. 2 of them up in the top 10. Way to go, Dirt, and way to go, Florian. So that's our Bs. Nathan, you get the honor and privilege of shouting out our top 10 in the As.
On over to the A's, it was Daniel Keys just nipping it at the line by less than 1/10 of a second. So absolutely flying on through onto that downhill. Then it was Jonathan Blomqvist for the ESRT team in for second place. Jay Brun there for third. Jean Verm did have that battle with Brun, but it was for a third and a fourth place to try and grab that podium. Lau Capitan. Jay Verm. John Verm, excuse me. Then it was
I shouldn't have done that.
In fifth for the Dragons. Mads Buster, also, I believe, riding for the Dragons, coming on through for sixth. It's David Vila for seventh. Stuart Way from the WLC team in for eighth. Naofumi Nozaki for AHDR, I believe, coming out of Japan for ninth. Good to see Nozaki out there riding. And it's Matthew Depau for the Mutant team in for 10th place. That is your top 10 in the A's, and that is stage 4 of the OG Racing Series. Well, the question is, what is up next, Dave, for Z Racing for the monthly series? As we are looking toward the beach party coming up in July, be on the watch out for announcements for us covering that. We will also we did not cover the women's series yesterday, everyone, because it was an individual time trial. We will be catching up with them next week, taking a look at what the participation though also is and how it's going. We'll make sure that we're covering something that does make sense. So we have to go ahead and do some research on that. But then for sure, we'll also be doing some things around the Tour de France and Tour de France Femme. So be on the watch out for some announcement with that. Tomorrow, Dave, we've got the wrap though with James Barnes coming back from Olympics. So we get some inside look about what actually went down at the esports Olympic event. And Barney, I think, did they take first place? I believe they did.
He did, and when I was watching, it looked like he received the most support through all the comments and stuff. He was incredibly popular, and a lot of that has been his awesome attitude. He's an interesting person, a great athlete. You couldn't find a better guest, and really, ambassador for esports. He's the cream of the crop. So that'll be a fun. I watch every week, so I'll look forward to tomorrow.
Appreciate that. Whether or not you're watching, Dave. I mean, that's everything. I mean, that's
yeah, I bet.
All right, we'll wrap tomorrow. Next week, we'll be back for some more racing on Wednesday. Tuesday, be on the watch out for. I mean, it's ramping up the whole week, the whole month of July. Obviously, tons going on. The Climb Portal coming at you on Friday, everybody. There are some sneak peeks that are out there. I do know Zwift Insider put something out. Gabriella just threw out an Instagram reel. It is a little bit of a preview. Can I? Yeah, go ahead.
So
Dave.
For folks, Nathan, just for folks who, what's the quick and dirty on Climb Portal for folks that are wondering? Because this answered a question or what I guess the community's been asking for something like this for a long time. So can you give us the quick rundown?
Yeah, sure. So there's going to be a schedule of climbs that you can do, 2 of them at a time. There'll be climb challenges that you can do, and they are climbs that are in for the month of July that are either in the Tour de France or the Tour de France Femmes. And yesterday, actually, I got a little bit of a sneak peek at the Tourmalet, and it was hard. It was really hard, and it was the Tourmalet. Like, it is an exact replication.
So there again, yeah, just like Alpe de Zwift is exactly Alpe
d'Huez. But it's not a graphical representation of what it looks like at the Tourmalet, except for the gradients. You essentially are able to ride the whole climb all the way to the top, but instead of showing you of what it would look like to be at the Tourmalet, because to recreate these very, 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 very quickly and to be able to throw these climbs at you on a cool schedule like that. Right. They're then making them more about what is the gradients that you're going after, and you're getting a more gamified experience to interact with the climb. So when you're climbing at I think it's somewhere between 0 and 3% gradient or so, it's a blue road. And then when it hits, I believe somewhere over 5%, you hit a yellow road, and then when you hit somewhere over 8% or 7 or 8%, it goes orange, and then over 9% it gets into red, and there's dark red, and I hit I think 23% on the Tourmalet yesterday. I mean, it was so difficult. But wow. And then your scenery also changes around you as you're climbing those sections. So as you hit a red section, everything in the air, there's all these little particles flying around that are different shapes and colors, and they also change along with the road. So you feel like you're in the effort that you're putting out, also with the environment
kind of
that you're
in. Space, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's really amazing when you think about. Can you imagine if you planned a vacation to France this summer and you were going to be climbing on the Tourmalet? What a gift this would be to be able to, because what you're doing is exactly replicating the physical effort required to do the climb. But and as you said, it doesn't have all of the bells and whistles that come with the normal Zwift world, but it does have something entirely new in the world of Zwift, which is really cool stuff. I mean, it's amazing to think of in the last 6 months how Zwift has changed and it's all these unique improvements in different areas.
So there are I would say just differences too, because it has different bells and whistles where when I'm climbing, now when I go with the expectation of this is about the effort to the top of the climb, it really gives you I look forward and I'm like, oh, there's red coming. I know there's so last night, here's exactly how I thought about it. I'm going to do a tempo ride to the top, but I'm going to try and gain time where the most extreme gradients are. So everywhere that it was blue, yellow, or orange, I was tempo sweet spottish. But whenever it went red, I was over FTP, which gave me an amazing workout. And because I was able to see those different gradient colors as I was climbing up and what was coming in the distance, I was able to prepare my mind as well as my effort and my shifting for those different parts of road that are colored that way. Really cool. And then it was like, once you got onto that part of the road, you kind of, because the environment around your avatar changed as well, you kind of felt like you got into that effort in an extra way,
Right.
which was really cool. And then on the left-hand side, you actually see each one of your segments timed and your average watts through each one of those segments, like on Alp to Zwift. So that's pretty cool as well. So they do a really good job of creating kind of a semi, it's not a full-on workout mode, but it's kind of like a semi-workout mode environment with also the climb in front of you. So very well done by Zwift.
Yeah, good. That's going to be really well. A lot of exciting things happening. I can't wait to be back next week. But to look back on our OG summer series here, very, very cool. And big thank you to everybody who helped get us to where we are. We were talking about KISS today, and they continue to keep on rocking out there.
Yeah, KISS Racing team, that's who we were focused on today. And big shout out and thank you to them as well as Zwift for putting this on throughout this entire month. It's been absolutely awesome. Taking a look back at where the whole racing community started, has come from, and has stayed alive and well within this community. Well, we'll see everybody tomorrow for the wrap with myself and Anna and James Barnes as our guest, talking all things Olympics and esports. But as always, from Dave and I, we'll see you next week for some more racing, and ride on.